Welcome to Understanding by Design. Understanding by Design is a framework by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTighe, and it is a way to design curriculum that is based on standards. Tonight we're going to look at that framework and how to incorporate it when we plan our curriculum. The other purpose for tonight's video is to show you how you can use a video in order to create content in a flipped classroom. So let's get started. This first slide is an 8-minute video we're going to watch together, and then it has some links that I will share with you. It's Understanding by Design in a nutshell and some glossary where you can find some definitions and for some key terms in Understanding by Design. First, let's watch this 8-minute video.
I'm an instructional technology coach and a fellow classmate in IDT 7074 at the University of Memphis. Have you ever designed a course in a university and you weren't sure where to start your planning? Or maybe you have a new set of district or state standards to implement this school year. You have an idea of some of the topics and activities you'd like to cover, but you're really having a difficult time connecting the standards, materials, and lessons to what really should be the goal, student understanding. Understanding by Design is an instructional design model that provides a framework for creating curriculum plans with student understanding at the heart of it. Let's take a look at what UBD is, its 3 stages of design, and the key principles that drive the framework. Understanding by Design. Understanding by Design, or UBD, is a curricular planning framework created for teachers and curriculum writers by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTighe. It appeared in their book of the same name, Understanding by Design, in 1998. What is UBD? UBD is an instructional design model that purposefully designs curriculum for student understanding through 3 stages of design: identifying desired results, determining assessment evidence, and planning instruction. It is the alignment of these stages that develops student understanding and transfer. What makes the UBD model unique? UBD is also known as backward design, because the curriculum plan begins with the end in mind or the desired outcomes. This sequence of design differs from traditional curriculum planning, which may start with selected resources or activities. So instead of the model starting with what teachers teach, it begins with what the students will learn. Wiggins and McTighe believe backward design prevents what they call the twin sins of traditional planning. The first sin is activity-focused teaching. This sin is planning isolated activities and lessons for student engagement without any alignment to goals and standards. An example is the Johnny Appleseed unit from elementary school, where you listened to the story, made art with apple seeds, and wore a paw on your head. Could you apply these lessons to any other ideas you had learned? The second sin is known as coverage-focused teaching. This sin covers large amounts of content facts without any learner understanding. An example might be your history teacher who lectured about facts upon facts from World War I, but you still aren't sure why you learned about it and how it connects with other issues of the time. Identifying the desired result first in design planning prevents the twin sins from occurring. UBD and the 3 stages of design. Stage 1, identifying desired results. Guiding questions for Stage 1. The first stage of design includes identifying desired results. Goals may be derived from state or district standards in the K-12 environment. Standards can be lengthy and complex, therefore teachers are encouraged to unpack the standard. Unpacking helps determine the big ideas, core skills contained within the standard, and prioritizing goals based on time limitation. Teachers use the big ideas identified to create essential questions to help make meaning for students. Essential questions should foster inquiry, understanding, and transfer of learning. Teachers must also identify the knowledge and skills needed for student understanding of the identified goal. Stage 2, determining assessment evidence. Guiding questions for Stage 2. The second stage of curricular design is to determine what assessment evidence is needed to reveal meaningful transfer. Wiggins and McTighe encourage teachers to think like assessors before designing units and lessons. It's important to note that the valid evidence selected should align with the desired results from Stage 1. Assessments are considered to be two broad types: performance tasks and other evidence. Performance tasks are designed using authentic scenarios and determine the application of learning to new ideas. Other assessment evidence is considered to be quizzes, tests, or observations, and also should be designed prior to instruction. Stage 3, planning learning experiences and instruction. Guiding questions for Stage 3. During this stage, the teacher creates the lessons and activities directly related to the desired outcomes and assessments planned from Stages 1 and 2. Wiggins and McTighe use the WHERE-TO acronym to help teachers design learning events that support student acquisition, meaning-making, and transfer. W. Where is the unit going? What's expected? Where students are coming from, with prior knowledge and interests. H. Hook the students and hold their interests. E. Equip students, help them experience the key ideas and explore the issues. R. Rethink and revise their understandings of the work. E. Exhibit and evaluate. T. Tailor to students' needs, interests, and styles. O. Organize for maximum engagement and effectiveness. Although the framework is set up in 3 stages, Wiggins and McTighe believe that UBD is a nonlinear design process. They state that the final product should obey the 3-step logic, but that the design process unfolds in an unpredictable way. UBD includes 8 key tenets in understanding by design, which helps to clarify the model's principles. UBD is a curricular design plan and not a rigid program or prescriptive recipe. The goal of UBD is to deepen student understanding and promote transfer of big ideas. Content standards are unpacked to promote the alignment of goals in Stage 1 and the appropriate assessments for understanding in Stage 2. Student understanding may be assessed through authentic performance tasks. Teachers are coaches and facilitators of learning and design instruction to promote meaning-making and transfer. The curriculum is planned backward, and the alignment of the 3 stages is essential in order to achieve the long-range goals. Regular reviews of curriculum against design standards enhance curricular quality and effectiveness. UBD reflects a continuous improvement approach to achievement. For more information about UBD, you can look into reading the 2nd edition of Understanding by Design by Wiggins and McTighe, or check out these additional resources.
So now we're going to look at a metaphor for backwards planning a lesson. The term curriculum is derived from Latin, meaning of course of travel, like a chariot. Let's expand this idea by comparing planning a lesson to taking a vacation, which I hope to do in a couple weeks. Actually, we just bought an RV, so we are going to do it in a couple weeks. So we could go anywhere we decide to go. We're going to make this trip a driving vacation. Like we just bought an RV, so we'll be in an RV. Where should we go? What will be our final destination? Before we begin, we must first figure out how we're going to get to this final destination, given the time allotted to this vacation. Knowing this and having identified our starting and ending point, we can then begin to plan our route. So, for example, we're going to go down to San Diego to visit my son who's in graduate school and his girlfriend and their new puppy. And we know where we're going to start. We're going to start from Santa Rosa in our RV. Here's one possible route, which is one that I typically encounter, but probably not the most efficient. Or we could go this way, or we could go this way. We can build in checkpoints along the way, such as planning to arrive at certain landmarks by certain times to ensure that we will arrive at our time at our final destination. So for example, we often will stop at a rest stop halfway in between Santa Rosa and San Diego to let our dogs run around. So we want to make sure we know where the rest stops are, just in case they have to go to the bathroom before we get to our planned place where we're going to stop and have lunch. A careful plan has been prepared. Imagine that as we begin driving, we encounter a roadblock because we really wanted to enjoy the vacation in the time allocated. We must try to get back on track in order to arrive as soon as possible at our final destination. Roadblocks might account for this route. Imagine if you knew your destination but did not know your starting point. How would you effectively plan your trip? What if you knew your starting point but not know your final destination? How would you know where to go? What would happen if you knew where you were starting and where you wanted to go, but you didn't have a plan for how to arrive? How could you be sure that you would arrive on time? So this is a perfect metaphor for backwards planning. So what backwards planning design is not is you don't teach topic 1, 2, and 3, then make the assessment, and then give the assessment on the topics. That's not backwards design. It's basically a shift in teaching and learning from traditional practice, where you select a topic from the curriculum, design the instructional activities, design and give an assessment, give a grade or feedback, and move on to a new topic. That's a traditional way that some teachers teach, but it's not backwards design. Backwards design is creating an authentic assessment for what should be understood for the standard, and that is standards-based planning. So you have your standards that you're teaching, and you create the assessment, and then you teach topics to your students. It's a shift in teaching and learning. So you're going to select the standards from those that they need to know. They need to design an assessment through which your students will have an opportunity to demonstrate those things, decide what learning opportunities you'll need to learn those things, and then plan instruction based on that. And then using data from the assessment, give feedback, reteach, or move on to the next level. Understanding by design and why we should plan backwards. Too many teachers focus on the teaching and not the learning. They spend most of their time thinking first about what they will do, what materials they will use, and why they will ask students to do, rather than first considering what the learner will need in order to accomplish the learning goals. That's a quote by Grant Wiggins and Jay McTighe. I don't know if they said it together at the same time. So tonight's session really was to give you an understanding of what backwards planning is, how you can dive into that in your own classes that you're teaching with your students. And also, this should have shown you a way that you can create videos and have students watch these videos either offline by themselves or keeping a library of these videos so students can refer back to them. Hope it was helpful.